Everyone, close your eyes. Mayor.
Objection!
Hold on. Where's Eric? What'd you do with Eric? Bring back Eric! Hey folks, welcome to another Broken Meeple episode, and sorry for the slight gap in recordings. Lately I've been kind of preoccupied with my brother's wedding, and therefore, as you can understand, my priorities were kind of shifted over to that really. So that's pretty much been the focus of me for the last week and a half. But of course, now we gotta get back to business, and there's plenty of games on my pile to review, an absolute ton, because of even just a week away causes a backlog. So we're gonna start off with Werewords. Yeah, odd title, I agree. But Werewords is basically what I would like to call the reprint of an old little game called Insider. Insider was this tiny little game that pretty much appeared at Essen, I believe, last year, and kind of flew a bit under the radar, but it's been sought after, and it's essentially 20 questions with a traitor twist. Try saying that really fast when you're drunk. The game is very much a sort of copy of Insider. However, as well as the traitor, or werewolf in this case, you have a few additional extras as well. How does it play and how does it compare to the Insider game? Well, let me give you a very quick overview because there's only so much to talk about here, and then I'll get on to my final thoughts. In Werewords, players guess a secret word by asking yes or no questions, figure out the magic word before time is up, and you win. However, one of the players is secretly a werewolf who is not only working against you, but also knows the word. If you don't guess the word in time, you can still win by identifying the werewolf, much in the same manner as you did in the One Night Werewolf games by basically a point and vote system. To help you out, one player is the seer, who knows the word, but has to be careful not to be too obvious when helping you figure it out. If the word is guessed, the werewolf team can pull out a win by identifying the seer. So you can already tell there's a similarity here to Deception Murder in Hong Kong with the witness role. A free iOS Android app provides all the words that you'll ever need, as well as voice narration to take you through the very simple nighttime phase. Once the nighttime phase is done, then everybody wakes up and essentially plays the game 20 questions in order to guess the magic word, of course bearing in mind that the seer and the werewolf have hidden knowledge from the teams. There are one or two other roles that can be used in the game as well, such as the minion and the beholder, but of course these extra roles are purely optional and recommended for greater numbers of players. The app provides many ways to tweak the difficulty, from increasing it from easy, medium, hard, to even ridiculous words. The game is dreadfully simple that you can literally get up and go with this in minutes. It will take up to 10 players. It will play in less than 10 minutes. This is Werewords, so what do I think about this one? So that's a very quick overview of Werewords, and I must admit, when I heard about this whole werewolf versus 20 questions thing, I thought, okay, you're milking the cash cow a bit here, Bezier Games, you know, they are obsessed with this sort of thing, but it works quite well. The roles are specific to what you are used to in One Night Werewolf, except they're much simpler to deal with. So this is a definite entry-level gateway game, particularly if everybody is already aware of the concept of 20 questions. Granted, it's not something that people play all the time, but all it takes is a quick revision of the rules of 20 questions and people will remember, oh yeah, that's how you do that. Not a problem. It takes up to 10 players fine and takes less than 10 minutes in order to play. It is disturbingly quick. In fact, the first time I brought this to a club night, we got about 7-8 plays of this in the last hour, I believe, of the night. And certainly that was a lot of plays, and that was just one group. It took on quite well, and it was liked by a lot of them. Now, there aren't that many special roles, that has to be said. You've got the seer and you've got the werewolves. They're the two main ones. The mayor is essentially like the host, the one who has to answer the questions, and it can be quite fun and slightly stressful to be that role. But what's cool is that you are not just the mayor, you're also a hidden role on top of that. So as well as being the host, you might also be on the villager team, or the werewolf team, or even a seer. And depending on that, it will influence your choice of words on the app, because the app gives you choices, and the whole how you're going to act. Are you actually trying to help the team guess it, or are you deliberately choosing the hardest word possible and being obtuse in your answers? Of course, if you're on the werewolf team and your team fails, they might suspect you to be a werewolf. And I really like how the host can be an enemy in this game. That's really cool, and I don't see that very often. Normally the host, like the ghost in Mysterium, the forensic scientist in Deception, they're normally on the good side. Here, they can be on the baddie side, and that's a nice little twist that you don't see very often. Now, I reviewed Insider a while back, and I only gave it about a 6 or 7. I wasn't that keen on it, because I thought that if people were deliberately quiet, it threw the game off. Because you'll suspect, oh yeah, that person's quiet, therefore they are obviously the insider, or they're just deliberately being like that. But the problem is, it's very hard to tell which is which. If you're not the sort of person that likes to join in these sort of things, it's going to throw the game for a loop. This one actually does a good job of remedying that situation. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend playing this with completely 100% quiet, shy people. I think you do need to get into this game. But that added element of the werewolf team and the seer side, adds that extra winning condition. So even if your team can't get the answer because there's too many quiet people in the group, you might still be able to pull out that win if you're just very adept at thinking, now which one of these people is a werewolf? Was it the person that was quiet, or do I think it's actually one of these people putting in silly questions? And that helps a lot. To the point where I'd say this is actually better than Insider, and it completely replaces it. Granted, Insider is a very, even smaller box than this, and very, very portable. But this one, all you need is the app. You just need the tokens in here, and it's still pretty portable, as you can see. The app itself works fine. It works very much like the other One Night app, except you don't get Eric Summerer as the voice, which threw me for a loop at first, but, oh well, he can't voice everything. And to be fair, there's not a lot that has to be said with the nighttime phase. Now, one slight concern I have with this, though, is the words themselves. You can tweak the difficulty in this game to be, easy, medium, hard, or ridiculous. And there's a slight issue with that, because, well, let me give you an example. You remember Time's Up, the party game? In Time's Up, they used people names, and if you didn't know who the person was, you were basically screwed. So Time's Up Title Recall, which is the version I have, did it a lot better with song names and album names and book titles. This uses a mix of words from all sorts of areas. It could be used a verb, an adjective, a noun. It could be, a title of something. It could even be a person's name. Now, you do get a choice on the app as to which words you pick, but depending if you're a werewolf or the villager, you're going to be influenced by which one you pick. And there's a colossal difference between having a word, say, like pineapple, compared to John Locke. I had that one in one of my games, and a werewolf picked it as the mayor. We were screwed. I mean, we only just managed to win because we were able to guess which one person was a werewolf. But seriously, I did not know who John Locke was. I've never watched Lost. I think he was from Lost. I think my mate said he was the bald guy from Lost. But that was the thing. At the time, I had no idea who this guy was. I'd never watched the series. I didn't know who he was. How are you supposed to guess that? So I don't know why they use people names in this. And I admit that is a bit of a flaw with this. If you get a person that you don't know, it's going to kind of spoil the experience. Even though you have the extra winning condition, it can spoil it. Werewords is a nice, simple party game, and I think it replaces Insider. This is a keeper for me. I'm going to hang on to this because it is a very simple game to get people into. It's perfect gateway level. Certainly I would say get them into this before even One Night Werewolf, because it teaches that whole nighttime phase and the, people wake up and do stuff. But 20 questions, anybody can get into that. Even easier than a One Night Werewolf game. And just has that little bit of bluffing, that little bit of deduction in there, just to bring people in. It's worked great with gamers and non-gamers alike. Now, is it perfect? No. As I said, the choice of words is a little bit odd, and it's difficult to get the balance right with how many werewolves you should have in a team versus how many villagers. Werewords, it's pretty solid. I enjoy it. I certainly enjoy it a lot more than Insider because of those extra winning conditions. It's easy, simple, cheap. What more do you want from a quick and easy party game? So I'm going to give Werewords a solid, I'd say, not an astounding, but I'm going to give it a solid 7 gnashing fangs because it's definitely worth a play. It has that issue of the problem with the words that it uses. And of course, 20 questions is fun, but it's not something you're going to go like, oh, I'm going to bring this to every night. But it's still solid, really enjoy it, and certainly I think it's worth playing. So that's it for Werewolves. I'll see you on the next Broken Meeple review, and take care. Remember, it's still only a game, even though it's only 20 questions. See you next time.